Okay, this video is for if you need a little bit of extra practice or a reminder about our two-step notes that we took yesterday. So yesterday we talked about two-step equations, which is kind of combining the one-step addition and the one-step multiplication equations that we learned about before fall break. In our first example, we have negative 4x minus 5.2 equals 11. First thing, I always want to think about my goal. Our goal here, as it says up here, is to isolate the variable. I want to figure out what x right here, what x equals. That means I also need to get x by itself. My final answer should be x equals something. So x by itself on this side of the equal sign. First thing I have to do, or step one, is undo any addition or subtraction. So this right here, this minus 5.2, is being subtracted. Even though there's a negative sign in front of this 4x, when I have a number attached to a variable, it's being multiplied. So this is negative 4 times x. I cannot add or subtract that. But this minus 5.2, it's all by itself. There's no variable attached to it. So I can do the opposite operation to move this or get rid of this negative 5.2. The opposite would be to add 5.2. So I add 5.2 to both sides. Negative 5.2 plus 5.2 cancels out. That's just 0. I'm left with, right here, negative 4x equals 11 plus 5.2, which is 16.2. Now I'm so close to getting the x all by itself, but I still have this negative 4 right here. Again, this is negative 4 times x. The only way to get x by itself now is to divide by negative 4, because this is multiplication. The opposite of multiplication is division. So I divide both sides by negative 4. Negative 4 divided by negative 4 is 1, so that simplifies out. Now I have x equals negative 4 divided by 16.2. You can go ahead and do long division. In this case, I really want to see, can you reach the variable? So I'll tell you, negative 4 goes into 16 negative 4 times. Negative 4 goes into 2 0 times. We add a 0, negative 4 goes into 25 times. So my final answer would be negative 4.05. X equals negative 4.05. Okay, pause this video and go back and look at this problem if you have questions. Really look at the work that I have done here. Let's go on to the second problem now. Second problem, we have 1.5 plus 3.4x equals 44. Again, draw a line through the equal sign so we can keep the two sides balanced. Whatever changes I make to this left side, I have to make to the right side as well. Now, this 1.5 is all by itself. It's just being added to the problem, so I can go ahead and subtract the 1.5 from both sides. Minus 1.5. 1.5 minus 1.5 is 0. I cannot subtract this 3.4x because this is multiplication. So I'm going to leave that, and I'll mess with that in just a second. I still bring it down. I have 3.4x equals 44 minus 1.5, which is 42.5. Okay, so we have now 3.4x equals 42.5. Because this is a number right next to the variable, this is being multiplied. The opposite of multiplication is division, so I divide both sides by 3.4. 3.4 divided by 3.4 is 1. I get x by itself, and I know that x equals 42.5 divided by 3.4. Okay, for this problem, guys, remember our goal is to solve for the variable. So for this problem and for stuff like this, I'm totally fine if you use a calculator. So on a calculator, we type in 42.5 divided by 3.4. We get 12.5. X equals 12.5. Our goal is to solve for x. So if you get to this point and want to use a calculator to do the division, totally fine with me. Okay, If move on to the next video if you want to go over the last two right here, or go ahead and go to Khan Academy and start practicing these two-step equations.